you're on air, okay? Sorry, I just got a last-minute joke. And a last-minute guest, who I think is gonna make our show even more interesting. You guys know him, he's Hyper Hupper, and according to him, he had to come on because we were discussing love languages today, you know, and he seems to think that he's a love man. So, yeah, no. We're gonna have an exciting show.
Interesting stuff.
Interesting stuff. So, Hoppy, do you want to tell the audience who you are other than the love man?
I am the love man. I didn't realize I was the love man. I'm just...
You're just a parent today.
Yeah, I'm just here as, you know, trying to be in love.
If you see the eyes, I don't know if the camera could catch the eyes that he's giving to Maureen right now.
But we are going to help him.
Yes.
So if you really need help, adult, huh?
I think I need help. I need help, you know. Especially in love. Is love sign language or something like that?
It's not sign language, it's a real thing.
It's a real thing. Teach me. I'm here to learn.
So next we have Maureen. Maureen Bartholomew is a core member of Family Life TT.
That's right.
And she does a lot of work in marriage counseling. And of course, you know, the foundation for the home is a good marriage.
That's right.
So, you know, even though it's not necessarily child-specific, the topic today, and we will talk about how, you know, even with love languages, children receive, love differently.
That's right.
So we're going to talk all about love languages. What are the different love languages? This has come out, for me, it's something that I discovered when I was reading the book by Gary Chapman. And I went like, whoa, now I understand. And so I'm going to leave Maureen to tell us all about the love languages. She's going to introduce us.
Which
and
book
then
is this, by the way?
It's called Love Languages by Gary Chapman.
Is that Trinidadian?
No, it's not a Trinidadian. I mean, the book's been around quite a while. Maureen
Yes.
could probably give us some history
Yes.
about the book. I know it's a recommended book.
It is very much recommended. And you know what's interesting? Although he's not Trinidadian, the things that he speaks about are things that apply to people from any culture. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
You know? Because
So he's like a Bob Marley of the book.
He's a Bob Marley of the book world. And I'll tell you something. We have used this book with so many couples working with them. The ideas from the book, the suggestions that he makes, the information, the education that they get. And it is a blow mind when they go home and do what they're supposed to do.
Right.
Because you know how people are, eh?
So you can give us the information, but Hoppy, after you get the information, you have to practice. Are you going to practice on me? Who are you going to practice on?
Oh, wow. Is that an invitation?
No, it's not. Wait, hold up.
I love being in the middle of these kind of things and making a match here.
Is this a training ground? Have a practice field?
See why I told you we're going to have a good show today? So, Maureen, tell us, 5 love languages, what are they? And then we're going to see if Hoppy knows which one he is.
He is.
Hoppy, do you know yourself?
Let me hear this thing now.
Before I even say the love languages, I just feel I need to just talk about love a little bit. Because, you know, this thing about love, you know, love makes the world go round. And, you know, when I was growing up, that was a couple of years ago, there was a song. There was a song that was so popular.
Hoppy believes in fluting. He thinks I'll get him everywhere.
Well, yeah, I love it too, so that's all right. So, but you know, there was this song that was, that always said, love is the answer. And what is the question? The question doesn't matter, but love is the answer. So
Who sang that? That's the Beatles?
Oh God, why are you going back to ask me who sang it? I was young.
Okay.
You know?
What's the answer?
So it's love was the answer.
I think I know that song.
You know the song?
Yeah. I'm just trying to figure out who
No, I don't
sang
think it was the
Yeah,
Beatles
no.
though. But
That's
the
John,
thing-
John Lennon, right?
No, it's not the Beatles. No, it's not the Beatles. But the point is
He
that we fall in love.
He plays music on the radio, so,
So
you
he
know,
knows
you're a little
music.
stuck on this right now.
He knows music. But what he will do is go and do some research.
No, I know this song. I'm just trying to remember.
You have to play, you have to
Someone
play
to
it.
love
You have
is
to
the
play
answer.
it this afternoon.
We have an info guy that
Well,
pulls some
okay,
stuff.
I'll Google it while she's speaking to help him out.
Just because he would be obsessed.
People need to know, you know.
Because he
give
would be
reference.
obsessed by
Okay,
that.
all
Yes.
right. So we're going to Google it while you continue to tell the
Yes.
audience.
So what I'm telling you is that what is interesting is that when people kind of fall, I'm sure you've been there, Gracie, where you sort of fell in love. And you just felt, oh my God, the bells and the banjos, and this person is thinking about her all the time. And she's thinking about me first thing in the morning, the last thing at night. and you just cannot stop thinking about this person. Total obsession with the person. Have you ever been there?
Is this love or lust?
Well, it depends on how you want to look at it. But many people don't think it's lust. I'm not talking about lusting after her body, you know.
No,
I'm
no, no,
talking
I'm
about
just-
simply loving the woman.
I think love is temporary. Like the being in love, that butterfly feeling, that you know, all the bells and whistles and
That looks like it?
right. I think to me is a temporary thing.
Yes.
You know, loving somebody, you can love somebody forever, but actually the being in love, fascination, this person. I mean, I don't know how you're very lucky if you find that
Well,
person.
you
that
know,
you can
I-
love.
Maureen, how long have you been married?
I have been married for 45 years.
Jesus.
But in spite of
It's
that, twice as old as you are.
well, I mean, I'm just saying. I mean,
But I was a child bride, eh?
You were a child, right?
I was one of the child brides that they're talking about these days.
You like?
Yes.
But Maureen, you need to give us some history.
How old you got married at 12?
12 and 45. Okay, I'll accept that.
Yeah.
I'll accept that.
Yeah, but I. What did I 12 years?
I'll accept that.
Wow. So it worked out for you then.
But look at me.
So
Do I look-
Maureen looking
do I-
good,
do I
huh?
look
Maureen
at
looking
someone
good.
who is
So then-
harassed and unhappy and no, because
But do you agree with
I
love?
knew how to make it work. And you see what I was saying just now? You are
That's a
so
good
right.
question, Maureen.
Huh?
Do you grow into love?
Yeah, because that in love thing does not work for very long. It does not work for
You see,
you.
and I
You
knew
know
it.
the
I
thing.
knew it.
The
You,
Greco-Roman
you
type of
didn't
love.
need me, you know. You could have done. You know the thing that is not love. What you were talking about, what I would say, that is not love because it passes. You know, we have it for a little while, and then that too will pass, and then afterwards we start to see the person properly,
Yeah.
and we see all the faults.
Yeah, because somebody was telling me this last week. I got an invitation for a wedding, and I was like, "But are you getting married? You were single as last week." Well, I just met the person 6 days after we gonna get. I was like, "Boss, you
Not making sense.
you
But-
know,
but
see
you
me and
know-
come live with me is two different things, you know."
Exactly. And that's why these days, I mean, I'm sure you've seen all the figures and so on, how bad it is for marriages in Trinidad and Tobago.
It is.
How, and working with couples, how many of our couples, after 2 years, I mean, and these are people who have not worked with us before they were married, but after 2 years, the marriage, they come with problems, real issues, you know, because that will pass. So that is why at some point you need to know that you have to forget about that kind of love with the feelings and the goosebumps.
When I
because
was
the
younger,
feelings
right?
are fickle.
When I was younger, a wise guy told me, "Show me the hottest woman, I'll show you the man who fed up with me."
Well, we could
Well,
call quite
I
a
mean-
few hot celebrities, you know.
And you know something? I find he's talking to both of us here, who not looking so bad, right?
I find so.
And saying about that. And we have men who not fed up of us.
Clearly, her husband isn't fed up of her.
Well, I mean.
So what we
obviously-
need to know is her secrets.
That's what we want to know. the
That's what we
secret
wanna
out
know.
there.
Well,
I
I
believe it.
want to know your secrets.
I believe if you have a little bad seed in you, like,
That's what you think.
yeah, when you have a little bad seed in you, now you can, you know, somehow you can keep the relationship on the edge.
If you have a bad seed.
Bad seed, yes.
So
the
which
bad-
one has to have the bad
The
seed?
woman.
The woman
The
has
man
to
too,
have-
because it keeps the woman, you know, also on the edge. But if you know, you need some kind of edginess in a
I wish you
relationship.
could tell me what the bad seed is.
Really? Are you asking Hubby to tell us that?
I would love to
Oh my
understand.
gosh.
What kinds of things when you talk
Oh
about a
my
bad seed?
gosh.
Well, a bad seed, you know, is one of those women who
My heart racing.
They-
This is a live
they're
show,
bad,
Hubby.
they're bad. They, you know, you have good bad and you have bad good. Masha, who are you?
I plead the fifth.
No, you see, that's the problem. You have to open up to your badness.
Oh
And if you
my-
open up to your badness, you'll find that your relationship, to me, tends to go on a little, you know, because you know the ups and downs of a roller coaster, right?
Uh-huh.
So you know, the moment
I
you
didn't
start
need to
get
wear blush
bored-
today, you know.
Huh?
Well, you know what I was thinking? I was saying that the love languages, in fact, tell you to open up to your goodness, to the better side of you.
What about the badness? And I'm not talking about the bad as in the evil side, right? I'm talking the bad as in the, you know, the
Well-
sexual.
Well, that is a very important part.
You know, they say you want a
Well,
freak in the
Maureen,
street and a lady in the streets.
Maureen has just said it's a very important part. She has
physical
played
touch.
into your...
Physical touch is one of the love languages.
Okay.
It is.
Let's say
But we're not going to talk about the physical touch first.
Could you wait and let Maureen
I
talk?
am going to tell
I
you.
would say like, let's get the languages.
The first love language is the words of affirmation.
Explain.
Words of affirmation. Anybody ever told you, oh gosh, you really are such a help? You know, to just come on the show at the last minute, I really appreciate you for that.
No, I never got that.
You never got something like that? well, I think some people
No,
might
no
have
reward,
to,
no
some people might have to
appreciation.
learn about words of affirmation,
You know?
but that's a really important
So
one.
words of
Giving
affirmation
compliments.
is clearly not his love language, because I know you heard me say, oh my gosh, look.
It is not his love language.
But notice he did not say, I didn't hear words. He said no appreciation.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
He wanted the tangible appreciation.
Uh-huh.
So that might lead us into the next one. But the words of affirmation are very important.
Right.
Because when somebody tells you, you know, like when I came in here, she gave me a compliment. And I said, good. That means I must do this more often. You understand?
Right.
Because when my husband tells me something good, it makes me want to do it more often. In
Nice.
whatever area of our lives.
So words of affirmation does not necessarily mean I love you.
No. It's simply appreciating someone for what
But using
they
words.
do. But we use its words. You know, we say you look good
So
in that dress.
mom, that
or
food tastes yummy.
it tastes great. Or you know, you tell your wife or your husband if he happen to be, if you're so lucky that he cooks for you, you say that as well. And then what it does is keep him wanting to cook more. In fact, you know, I have a girlfriend of mine, and she says, her
Every food
husband,
tastes good by the way.
no, but this girlfriend, let me tell you, she says
You have
her
to say it anyway.
her husband likes to cook, right? He would be the one to cook. So she said what she would do is sit there. Is this show for babies? Is this show for babies?
No, it's for parents.
Okay, good. So she would sit there looking seductive, and he would be there cooking. And he just wants to see her sitting there with a glass of wine,
Watching them
looking good, watching him cook.
cook. That's in the morning.
And then he cooks for her most of the time. So
'Cause
they see her words of affirmation, and then she does tell him how it is, but she shows him that I really appreciate this.
But you know why he cooking, right? So much.
Well, I know why.
She can't cook.
But that's the reason.
Well, most of the time it's like, I rather cook. Let me cook. Like,
So you're one of
I
those
thought
men
it
who
was-
like your belly so much, right?
I thought the reason that he was cooking was because she was, you know, looking all seductive and whatnot.
well, let me tell
That's
you.
the reason.
I mean,
Silly boy.
well, for the first couple, you know,
That-
In the
You are
moment,
not the one that just talk about the bad
honeymoon-
side.
no,
And
the honeymoon.
he's not the one who just talk about the bad side and keeping it and keeping it
And
spicy.
suddenly he cooking because I like my belly more than anything else.
I just saying, right? When
Uh-huh.
you pass through the honeymoon stage and thing, and then you realize, you know what, you don't really make them eggs like how I really like it. You understand? And no matter how I show you how to make them eggs, you're not doing it. So best I made the eggs, and you sit down and
stay
look
there
nice.
looking-
You understand? Because you would appreciate my eggs too.
And
So
you
her
see,
looking nice have nothing to do with it.
so what we women must start to
Answer my
do-
question. Her
Well, I can't.
sitting down
I
looking
can't.
nice.
I can't speak for the guy who
Well, we
loves
know
to
speak
cook.
for yourself.
I mean, I do.
If I put on some high heels and ting and
Oh,
ting
boy.
and ting and you know, sit down, that's not going to help you want to cook every day.
Yeah, but I mean, you're gonna put on high heels after in a marriage or so.
So I think
But you just say to keep the bad side.
exactly.
But you're kind of weird or what? So what are you saying? You saying after 30 minutes, after 30 years, I can still put on a high heels? Where to go and pay bills? When we come back, I'm going to give Poppy time to think about it because, like, he needs time.
High heels after 30 years. Wow.
Yeah, after 30 years, but we still putting on high heels, you know. We still, you know, when you reach home
You
and take
sure
high
you can
heels
put on high
salon.
heels after 30 years, girl?
I just want to tell you that women would be
Yep.
smart enough to not bother.
Uh-huh.
To just figure, I don't know how to do it.
I'm going to have to put you all on pause because we have to go and pay bills.
Pay the bills.
Don't go anywhere. We're trying to figure out what's Hoppy's love language today. You're watching Care, and today we're discussing the love languages. Did you know that some people speak in one love language and another person completely does not understand that this is what they're doing? They're speaking to me, you know, like Hoppy head down on the phone here. And apparently it's because I don't speak his love language. So when I say to him, Hoppy, you are my savior, Hoppy, I love you to death, he just does not take me on. He doesn't say thank you back. Clearly, words of affirmation is not his love language. Maureen, am I correct?
You are totally correct.
Yeah, you can't say
You are
it because
totally
Maureen said I'm correct.
Can you have a WhatsApp love language, like a text love language? I'm sure there is.
I think, yes, I think many people have that.
Yeah.
You know, it's something that
I think I'm
takes
in
over
that-
their lives.
I'm think I'm now in that world, you know.
Yes, I think many
So
living
if,
in
I
the
said,
matrix.
so if I said I love you via WhatsApp, is that better than me saying out loud in front of everyone on set, I love you?
You know,
Because you still
be-
have not acknowledged
to
that I
be-
thanked you.
to be
thank
honest,
you.
the
Is
person
still
I
not
am,
acknowledging me, you know, oh my
I'm
goodness.
kind of shy, so that's having everybody that's being put in the spot like that makes me a bit shy. So I might,
He does not
He's
like
a
the
bit
spotlight.
shy. He's a bit shy.
isn't
Tracy,
that
I
understandable?
think our
Yes,
audience,
Tracy.
I think our
Yes.
audience laughing right now.
No,
that
no, no,
way
no.
you see,
Not everybody
shy.
likes.
Hyper Hopper.
Let me tell you
You know what
something.
is
Not
his
everybody
nickname?
likes to be in
His nickname is Hyper Hopper.
Hold on.
He stand up on the stage and you can't get him to shut up when the day
That's a
comes.
different. That's a
But
different
maybe we
character.
need to shut him up now so that we could tell,
Yes.
tell him a little bit more about the love
All
languages.
right, we're gonna talk more
because
about words of
I want
affirmation.
him to know. You know, and you know, you said something that I did not say at the start, and I think it's so important. That we talk about the languages, like if I spoke English and you spoke French, and you did not understand when I was speaking to you, that's exactly
s'il vous
how it
plaît.
is. Ah bon, mais tu parles français alors?
I don't know anything else after.
Well, this is exactly how it will be to, if what makes me feel loved is words of affirmation, but that's not important to you. You may not even think of using that language to me.
Oh, okay.
So that people have to learn now that if what I care about is words of affirmation, therefore if you are my spouse, you have to learn how to do that
Right.
if you want to keep me feeling loved.
Right.
That makes sense?
Compromise.
It's not compromise, you better learn.
Well, it's speaking
It
in
is-
your
it is-
language.
it
It's
is
speaking in
making-
your language.
It's speaking in your language.
So again, if I was English and you were French, it makes no sense me and trying to learn French and come home and talk English every day. You gonna watch me like, I don't understand.
How does it
Exactly.
work out though?
Well, I have to learn French. If your native language is French, if
You
we're
have
going
to.
to try to be married, I need to learn French. And it would show something if you
So-
try to
That you're
learn
making the
English.
effort,
and so
you know,
we'll
just for
become
me.
bilingual.
Right.
I can tell you, I have a daughter who got married to a Frenchman.
You still married?
Not a Frenchman, sorry, a Dutchman. Why? Yes, they're still married, very much so. And I'll tell you something. She spoke no Dutch when they got married. And he spoke a little bit of English. But she said, you know, if I am going to be married to this man and go and live in this country, I therefore have to learn his language. You with me? And it's the same thing with love.
Yeah,
So
but
that
if
we
you
have to
didn't-
make the effort,
but
and it
if
was
you
an
didn't-
effort to learn it.
If you didn't speak English at all, how would it work out?
But the thing is, everybody speaks a little bit of these love languages, but we need to enhance it. Because if what I really need are words of affirmation, and you don't give that to me, I am
So
not
you
going
need to
feel
say
loved.
thank you out loud
Thank
if
you.
words of affirmation
Thank you.
is
Exactly.
my love language.
So you
And
think
you
that's
see-
your love language, right?
I didn't tell you what's my love language. That's for you to find out.
You look beautiful today
That-
Oh!
with your red lipstick.
I put that on just for you.
And you-
nice.
Ask
And
the
you see-
audience.
Thank you,
Audience
thank
don't
you.
ever see me in red lipstick.
Thank
I
you.
put it on just for you. Today's love.
Thank you.
Today's
Love it.
all about
And
love.
you
So-
realize how those encouraging words that he gave you,
Yeah.
you know, she did special things for you because encouraging words are part of the words of affirmation. Because sometimes you need to encourage somebody to do something. I mean, you know, like I know when I used to teach in one of my past lives, and when I decided that I was leaving and going into doing consultancy, my husband encouraged me. You know, I said, I don't know if this is going to work out, and you know, financially and everything. He says, look, Maureen, I think you have what it takes. Go for it.
Right.
You know, but those encouraging words were a
But
very
let me
important
ask you,
part.
if you did the opposite and you didn't find you had what it takes and say,
Well,
well,
you know-
Maureen, I don't feel you have that in you. I think you're better a teacher.
Yeah.
What do you think would happen at that point? Would you be like the typical
I'm-
woman
I-
say, oh, you don't support me, blah, 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 and then divorce.
Well, it could lead, I don't know if it would have led to divorce, but I
But-
would have felt,
But do you see that happening in a lot of marriages?
it happens in a lot of marriages.
When-
But then what if the
And
person's
not just
telling you the
because
truth?
it's one thing, but when it's a combination of things.
But
No,
what,
but when is
what
it-
if the person is telling you the truth? Because here's a good
That's a
point.
good point.
Suppose he genuinely thinks that, you know what, babe, you ain't ready for this step, you know. Would you
I don't
rather-
think we're ready for it. I think you're
Would
making
you-
the wrong
Yeah,
choice.
well, okay, so you're making the wrong choice. Would you prefer him to lie and encourage you anyway?
If, as we talk about in love languages, your love tank is full, if you feel you have a good relationship with that person, you all could talk about it. You know, I could trust what you're saying to me, and maybe this makes sense. You'll give me reasons
But
why
people don't like the truth.
I should do what I...
But you just heard her.
But when
Explain
you
love
are in
tank
a
to him.
relationship,
Explain love tank. You
you
just
know,
use the word love tank. What is
I
the
use
love tank?
a love tank is, you know, when our love tank is full,
It's like a water tank.
it's like a water tank. And I begin to feel that if you are my husband, I feel I could trust you. I feel we could discuss difficult things. When my love tank is empty, because you have done nothing to make me feel loved.
Okay.
That's why my tank is empty.
Oh.
Then
So
you
you
come and
see-
tell me at this point, I don't feel that's good enough for you. You
So
can't
you-
make that.
So if it's
well,
full,
that
you
is
can tell
trouble.
her. But
That
if
is
it's
real
empty, you
trouble.
can't tell her.
If it is full, and you have to keep it topped up, you know, you got to keep asking me. So how is your tank today? Can I do anything to help fill your tank? You know,
Fill the tank up, you fill the tank.
You came from a time where, plays and stuff was, because you sound like something that's written out of plays.
you find it's not real.
It don't seem real, like,
But because-
And
all
that
ways.
is, and that there is how you get 45 years, Mr. Hoppy.
But I'll tell you, it's also because you have not been exposed to certain things. And when we work with couples and expose them to a different way of being. Because if you're doing this all the time, you see, in my world, we do this, 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 and it doesn't work. And you keep doing the same thing.
Crazy thing.
Your marriage is not going to get any better. But if you say, well, listen, what would it take out of you to try just for a month, instead of always criticizing your spouse, saying something good to him? Because there must be some reasons why you married this person. Notice I'm saying him, or her, you know, and that's where we make the difference. So you see, the thing
But
is
if
that
it was
you
if it
cannot
was-
keep doing
But if it
something.
was arranged, so if it was arranged marriage, like, or you got tricked. So, because you could get tricked into marriage. You know?
Tell me about being tricked.
Well, you thought you had, you thought you had a Mercedes, but we didn't truly,
Bait and
so-
switch.
So that means you married a man for his money. Well, it's very good that you're getting stuck with the wrong man. Wrong reasons to get married.
But what if, a woman and a man probably had a child together and it felt like, well,
We better get
We
married.
want to do the right thing, quote
The
unquote.
right
But you know, people have to learn to make right decisions.
Yeah.
You know, and I'll tell you, sometimes, if you learn how to fill back the love tank, you might find that things work a little better. You know, I wanted one other part, two other little parts of this words of affirmation, because I know that I'd like to get through the 5 before the end.
Well, we didn't have to get through one yet.
No, this is still words of affirmation. And one of them is kind words. You know, somebody might call you, your spouse might call you, and they say, hey, water. You know, how does that make you feel? You don't feel good. You know? But if they were to say,
Babe.
what do you want? Even if they say, but the water.
So,
With
so
the
when
annoyance.
I halfway across the house, Hoppy, you have to respond,
But you see,
yes, babe, not
Yeah.
what.
No, well, you cash
And
out.
water.
Yeah, but every reaction. We talking to? Man, is me talking to? Oh, yeah. I was like, this man keep talking to me.
I'm trying to talk to my cameraman.
Yeah. You shout at me, or you?
I
you
didn't
start
shout
speaking-
at
no,
you, but I'm upstairs getting ready for bed, and I forgot my glasses downstairs. And
And you shout.
babe.
You didn't say babe.
All right, I say babe,
Oh, if you say babe, then
and you respond what?
nobody. What can
It's-
be
it's the
a happy
what?
what or oh gosh what?
the oh gosh what? And all we're saying is that one of the things we must start to practice is the kind words. And not just saying the what of annoyance, oh God, what you bothering me for? but the what that says,
But if you genuinely
yes,
believe it,
what?
like, I was supposed to fake that now. Like, it's almost like you're always living
But
on
there are
eggshells.
some people who do this consistently. And when you are concerned about filling up the love tank of your lover, your spouse, you want to
Or
make
your
sure.
child.
Or your child. Because it's the same thing. We do our children the same thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because these apply to children as well, and we do the children the same thing. And the one last thing I want to say about affirmative words is that we must use humble words. You know, some people come up and say, where the food? You didn't cook the food yet? I come home here and I hungry and the food not.
You want to you are you hungry man, you want to start mash up everything in here?
And we do it to our,
Santana.
as you said, with the children, we do the same thing. You know?
All right. So that's words of affirmation.
Words of affirmation.
Okay.
So I want to go
Love
on to the
language.
second
But
one.
I think that's no. As we speak in here, you had that as the number one thing. As your
It's
first
not number
point.
one. That's
It's not
just
number
it's
one.
just
Just
five.
number
There's,
one
there's
on
no
the
Oh, so
one,
there's
two, three,
no
four, five.
there's no
That's
particular
number one.
There's
order.
no
It's
order.
just
There's
number
no
But
one.
priority.
I believe honestly though, in the long-term relationships, this is very important.
Which one?
The words of that.
affirmation.
Words of
But
affirmation,
Jane,
very
you didn't
Because-
hear the
important.
other phone.
No, but-
So can you let her go on to number 2?
All right, fine.
Yes. Thank you.
The second one is quality time. And there are many parts of quality time. One of them is togetherness. You know, when you talk about quality time, you want to be able to spend time together. And togetherness is not both of you sitting down, you watching the TV, this one on the some device of some kind. That's not.
You mean like how he
You're
on
not
the
just in
phone
the
while
same
he
room.
on the show with
Exactly. You know, that was not togetherness.
me? That is not quality
That is
time.
not
And then
togetherness.
want to come and tell me he spent an hour with me on the show.
Exactly.
But he on the phone, you know.
There's a whole
But he
hour
on the phone.
in your presence.
No,
Yes, but that is
is
not the
good
same.
enough.
No?
No, that's not togetherness. You should be doing something together. And that's something, whatever you're doing together, the activity itself is not important, but it's just the fact that we are doing it together. And we're enjoying this time together.
So if all right, let's say you like football and they hate football, right? They like
Ballet.
Kardashians and you hate the Kardashian, right? Where you find that balance? Because I don't want to watch the Kardashians,
But you
and
don't-
you don't want to watch football.
Because
Well, there must
we
be
live in a
something the two
practical
of y'all
world.
want to watch together.
If you
Like
get
what?
married to somebody that you went out with for a period of time, that you liked and you all did things together, and then you get married and suddenly there's nothing that
You
we
know,
can do together.
This is my point. I'm trying to get at.
So
Some
don't
people
get
fake
married
it.
if...
No, some people fake it. Oh, well, let's go, you know.
Yes, that is very
You
true.
understand?
Okay, so
Yes.
they pretend to like football,
Yes.
and
Yes.
now that we get married, all
Yes.
of a sudden they don't want to
Yes.
get... Oh.
Right?
Yes.
So that's a good
Oh, yeah.
question. I'm going to
Yeah.
give Maureen some time because we're going to go and pay bills. Oh my goodness.
Which bills you gotta
Hoppy's
pay,
like,
so?
Hoppy's never going to get for the show with Hoppy. But it's Red Bill's going to pay, you know, to have you on the show. It's
Yeah,
expensive.
yeah,
Red
yeah,
Bill's
yeah,
going to pay.
yeah, okay.
Don't go
Pay those
anywhere. You're
bills.
watching
Pay
care.
those bills, cameraman. Libs.
We're watching Care. Well, you're watching Care. I'm watching Hoppy. I think Hoppy watching Maureen. And today we're talking about love languages. What's the language that you speak? What's your language of love? We've covered so far words of affirmation. So some people need to hear those kind words, need to hear those encouraging words. They
That's
need the
right.
compliments.
Right.
And we're now on to quality
and you
time.
need to say that the spouse whose wife or husband needs that has to learn how to do it.
How to speak.
Okay? So we're talking about
that.
quality time
So
and we
we're
spoke
on
about
quality time.
togetherness. It's important to spend time together where you
And we
do
left
things
on
together.
the break where if you get into a marriage where
Right.
someone pretends to like something, but I'm going to speak up for the ladies here, right? Maybe it's not pretending, because and in the case of kids, it may change. You know, I could speak for myself. Growing up, I was a tomboy. Boy, you see Fantasy Premier League, I tops in that with the boys. In football, I really like football. I became a mom, and honestly, I don't think I watch football in like 6 years. Now and then the TV comes on, and it's not that the love for it is not there. I mean, I went and watched cricket the other day, and it's like, whoa, right back to being a tomboy. But life just doesn't allow for
Yes.
that anymore. You know,
Right.
I don't play football anymore, so the love for it just isn't there. So it's not that, let's say we got married, Hoppy, it's not like a fake. or just genuinely the interest has changed?
Poppy has a point though, because many, working with couples, many of the women sometimes do the things just to,
Woman, I tried to
just to
pick
go
up for
through the
you
men.
all, but it
You
didn't
try,
work.
but we have to be real here. And they really, and you know, this is the thing about the love languages, that there are times when we have to make an effort. You know, love is not a kind of feeling and a feeling good, but love is an action.
Yes.
It's a thing there
It's an
we have to
effort.
decide. It's hard work. You have to know how to make love work, and it is not easy. So if my husband likes that, I am going to learn a little bit about
I'd
it.
go and watch your football.
I am going to get involved with it. Like when I got married to my husband, there were a lot of things, like he loves sports. I only like the cricket. But all the football, the American football, the golf, and all those things, I really wasn't interested in, but he was. So what I did, I started to learn. I'd sit down, I'd learn a little bit, until I began to develop an interest myself. Now, I am not sitting down and looking at the whole American football game. I used to watch the golf a little bit more when Tiger was around, but he's not anymore. But what I'm saying is that I could jump in at any point and see what's going on with the game. I know who's playing. I show a little interest.
So woman,
And
listening,
that's what we're
if you
talking
want
about.
45 years of marriage, you gotta
Yes.
go and learn about these sports.
And good years. Because we don't want 45 years living in hell.
Sorry, 45 good years. And
Good
you
years.
see how she said the good, she said the good and she's smiling again.
So another
They
thing
stopped
about
making it. It's
quality
like,
time.
you know that, right? They stopped that a while back. No, like,
Only because they might have stopped making men like my husband.
oh boy.
High five again, high five.
I would agree. I
Yeah.
would agree. I don't know when.
Well, Hoppy, you have a son.
when
So
the
how
men-
about you
when-
make your son like that? And I go make a daughter like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Make the son like that.
Well,
That's important.
I'm
You see,
taking
the
notes.
you see the quality conversation too. You see how we could sit here and we can talk, we could share. You know, women and people who wear this is their love language. They want to share thoughts and feelings and dreams and fears. They want to talk to
So
their
when I come
partner
home-
about that.
When I come home, he has to say, baby, how was your day? And we have to sit down and talk together.
But it mightn't go so deep at that point. But you need to establish at least 15 minutes a day when you all could sit down and talk to each other.
Okay.
You know, just a little.
When
15
Hoppy
minutes
has
a
to
day.
take off
At
the
least
phone.
15
Wow.
minutes a
15
day.
minutes you have to take off
And
the
there are
phone
going to be
and
other
you have
times
to
that say
spend
you go
time
out with
me.
each other. Yes, you know.
Take me for ice cream.
Yes,
Ice cream night.
and the partner who is not into quality time and all this conversation and so on has to learn how to listen. How to listen not just to what I say, but what am I feeling? You know, when you said that, I could realize you felt so proud, or you felt so upset. You know, I saw you were irritated. I saw you, you know, use the words. Because that makes me feel special. Oh God, you not only understand what I said, but now you understand how I'm feeling as well. Wow.
Plenty
You
work, you
realize
know, Hoppy. You cut
it's
out for all
work.
that?
I mean, you could do all that in the first year or two, you know, but
45
Well,
years.
if
You have to do it for
if
45
you do it in the
years.
first year or two, consistently becomes a habit.
right.
And then you continue doing it without even thinking, you know?
But then the bad habits too, you know, the bad habits.
Feel
Sometimes
like we
you
just
get.
don't want to make it work, eh?
No, it's
Oh
not
my
that.
goodness, you're only
What
finding
I'm trying to say
excuses.
is that bad habits start in the
Turn
beginning,
around now.
right?
Yes.
Of a relationship,
Yes.
and it continues, and then it becomes worse habits.
When you
So,
get to that is why you learn certain things. If
When-
if you were well coached before, or if you come to one of our family
So we
life
had to go to
sessions,
Maureen before we get married.
so that you so that you learn about these things. So then you'd say, oh gosh, look, I realize I just stopped talking to this woman in the right way, you know. I remember I learned this. And you start to do some of the better things. You understand? Let's look at the
Third love language.
love language, which is
So,
receiving
Hoppy,
gifts.
Words of affirmation,
You mightn't like this
quality time.
quality time.
Which one do you think so far out of those you're leaning towards a little bit?
Words of affirmation is still my number one.
Okay, receiving gifts. Now, some people that is really important.
Oh,
And it
gosh.
doesn't matter whether you buy it,
So it's not that
whether
she's
you
a gold
make
digger.
it,
No,
No.
whether you find it. You know,
Let
you
me-
might go on the beach and you might find a nice piece of wood, and you pick up and you say, oh gosh,
this would
oh
be
God,
my
why-
remind me
I used the wrong word there.
of last night.
With a man like him.
This piece of wood here. What does it remind you of?
Okay, all right. So we
I
found a
changed.
shell.
So you found, yes, you found a lovely
lovely
shell.
shell.
So you
It's a
take
big-
away the wood.
No,
Yes,
take away
you
the
didn't
one.
find the wood again.
You ain't find the wood again.
I should have put a disclaimer. Oh, geez, children on vacation.
You found a shell.
We found a shell.
So you don't have to buy the gift, but you know your spouse would appreciate this. Whether it's a male spouse or he would appreciate this. That would make them feel loved.
Well, sure.
Because you're bothered to bring it and say, here, I found this, or you bought this for you, or I made this for you.
Listen.
You know?
In 2016, you bring me a shell.
Well, that is you.
Nobody say it. I mean,
Poppy, if you picked a flower, if you picked a small, tiny
Yes.
little flower
That's
from
what kids
outside
do.
and you bring it for me,
Serious?
I'm telling you.
flower.
And that's what
A
kids do
flower.
with their parents. You know, they say, Mama, I
Yeah.
love you, and they buy
I think
take a
that
little
is.
flower from outside.
I think that is very.
Wilted
In
by the
fact,
time
I
they come in.
prefer that than if you bring me a fancy Louis Vuitton handbag.
Really?
I swear to God.
let me get married now, yes? What?
You go and pick
A
a
flower?
flower. Yes.
You don't want a Louis, you want a flower.
No, I want a flower. Anybody could take money and buy a Louis.
Use woman to have gift.
Anybody could just buy things just so, man. But the thought of, you know,
thought.
Yeah, let me tell you something my mommy used to do. I was telling my mommy, and she's do it for her granddaughter now, and I now do it for my daughter. She leaves these little love notes. You open your lunch kit, the note there. You're everywhere these notes are. We always have, and that costs nothing, you know.
It costs nothing.
Costs nothing, let me tell you.
That's why I say you can
And-
make it.
Yes. You see those small made gifts I love. Pick a little flower and bring for me. That makes my day.
Right. But there are some women, of
Now
course,
giving-
who
I'm
want
giving
their
the
big
whole
gifts.
world
Some
all the
men who
tricks.
like a good gift, a big gift as well. But the biggest gift of all
Is love.
for anybody is the gift of yourself. You know, in a time of crisis, you just want a hug, you just want the person to stay with you as you're going through the situation. That gift of yourself, that I'm making time for you,
So when you,
becomes
when,
very
you, when you
important.
don't feel like you want to give yourself like that, do you think it's over? The relationship is over?
No, you see, I believe that you might think so, especially men. They look for, and I'm saying this because research has shown this, that when men begin to feel, I don't think I love this woman again. The only way you wouldn't make the time is when you begin to feel, I don't love her again. I don't see why I must spend this time and go through this effort.
Until she going out with a next man
Until
and they see
she,
that.
and then
And
you
they say,
suddenly
hey,
fall in love.
hey,
Yes.
what is going
All
on?
of a sudden you have
Exactly.
time now.
That's what I'm talking about bad seed.
Exactly.
That's what I mean by bad
When
seed.
the man is the bad seed there.
No, with the woman. That's when the woman is do that, you know, and keep him on the edge now. Oh, you want this?
You think
Uh-huh.
that works?
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
When people really understand love,
That's
they don't go
games.
that way.
That's
Yeah.
games.
Well, yes, I guess.
That have nothing to do with bad seed. If I have
Life
to,
is
if
a
I
game,
have
eh?
to constantly make you feel like you could lose me at any point,
Yeah.
No, it's not that I could lose you. It's just the fact that
that other guy's interested.
there's a reminder that there.
But why you need a reminder?
Because you get
Why?
like you get complacent. Some men get everybody. We all get complacent. We all
And
forget
that is
forget
exactly,
who we have.
That's exactly what we're trying to avoid.
Right.
Because when we get complacent, our love tank goes down.
Right.
But if we were to take a little time and just say, how's your love tank? Because you're on the same page with this conversation, with the language. And you just say, so how is your love tank today?
So,
how could I
Maureen, is
help you
it
to fill
maybe
up?
that he's getting complacent because his love tank is empty?
That is-
And if
that's
I
what
were keeping
happens.
his love tank full, then he wouldn't get complacent.
And because he's into this in love thing, so he probably found somebody else up there. Because half the time when men leave their wives, it's because they
They're trying to get his
already have,
honeymoon feeling.
they already
Chasing.
have a little thing outside
Yeah,
there.
they're chasing
They
something.
don't just leave, you know, to go into
nothing.
being by
But-
myself.
But I mean, in life you grow apart too.
Again,
You're
you
talking
have
to a woman been
work-
married for 45 years.
you
She ain't
have-
gonna believe about
you
growing
have to
apart.
work on a
No, but
marriage.
she's a
You
child
have to
marriage, it
work. Yes, it was, but
wasn't.
I've learned.
Which means she had
But
more
you have
growing
to
to do.
learn how to keep it together. You don't wait until you see, oh my God, look at where we are today, because because you really just drift. You can just drift apart in a relationship. But what you want to do, you want to say, how could I stop those things from happening? I don't want to drift.
Yeah, but suppose
So we got to do some of the things
all
to
right,
keep it
suppose
alive, to keep
you-
it energized.
You got married very young, and then you started to realize, well, you know, I like, you know, doing this, and you like doing that, and you're this way, I'm not that way,
And
you
that's
realize,
where we're saying sometimes in a marriage, both parties learn to suck it up a little bit. So you learn to, let me develop a little interest in what you're doing.
but there are times when people realize like I'm gay.
Now we go into a
How
different
you
place.
reach there?
No, that's saying, and
Listen,
the
we have
marriage
to-
going to
And
that
it,
way,
okay, and it breaks up.
Well,
Or sometimes they stay together for the children, and they say, okay, you sleep here, I sleep here.
Oh,
I don't want to
gosh.
see what you're doing. People do all sorts of
Hoppy,
things.
today is not about,
Gayness.
well, and it's not marriage counseling.
Oh,
It's love languages.
okay.
So let us go on to the
So
fourth
let's get
one.
on.
So that
Because we have two more,
my
and
point
we
was
have
just
to
coming
talk
back to
about.
the feeling of you don't feel like that anymore. You don't want to share time with
And my
the person.
point is that this is why you need to be properly guided in a marriage before you get into it. So you know that there are certain things that you keep doing to keep your marriage together. The love languages, using those love languages helps the person to feel loved. And when you feel loved, you're willing to do anything for somebody.
Okay.
You see, like Marsha is your friend, and because she's your friend, she'd put up with a lot of nonsense from you
Right.
that you mightn't put up with
With
from
somebody
someone else. Is that true, Marsha?
Of course.
Yes, because he's your friend. So that leads us to
We're going to pay bills.
okay.
More bills again.
More bills again, last set of bills, and when we come back, we have 2 more love languages to get through.
So
Don't
we'll
go
get-
anywhere.
We get through them as quickly as possible.
So, guys, Maureen, can I announce what the 4th love language is?
Yes, please.
Because Hoppy said for the 4th love language, he going to come and like demonstrate it.
No, we're not on that one yet.
And are we not on
This
that
is the one he says he wanted to know a little bit about. Act-
Oh, because wait, I'm
Acts of
nervous with
service.
that one. I understand why
Acts
I
of
said.
service.
And then Maureen got nervous with that one.
Yes.
Yes, I could see why. So the 4th
For the
one is
last
called
one.
acts of service.
Right.
Hoppy, what is an act of service?
I have no clue. I am still.
Well, in a
I don't
marriage,
want,
what
I
are
don't want to
some
say
of the
what I
things-
think it is.
No, well, that's not that service. We'll
Okay,
talk about that in the
all
next
right.
love language.
So that's not that service?
No.
No.
Okay.
You know, if you have a couple, we had a couple once, this is what happened with us. And he when they were going around, he did everything in the house. All the, you know, he'd help her. She lived on her own. And he'd come and he'd help clean and he'd
Right.
help what? He'd do everything. He'd help cook and all sorts of things. And after they got married, she said, well, this is the kind of man he is. But as soon as they got married, he just stopped. And she could not
So you see
understand.
men as fake too?
Yes.
No, me.
Say,
Don't
see
no,
me
me.
and come live with me.
But so she said the one thing that made me sure this man loved me has now disappeared. So what am I supposed to do? The thing is, was his love language was acts of service, doing all those things. But he expected when he got married that she would do some stuff for him as well.
Ah, so
You
he
know,
wasn't getting
He
it
was
back.
not getting it back. And he said the way he was, his mother did all the stuff in the house. His father didn't do anything. So he was living like looking at what his father did. He expected his wife to do these things for him. So what we had to do, I said, okay, just write down 3 things that you really think are urgent for her to do. And she wrote down 3 things that she really needed him to do. And it was interesting because he felt he hated to come home and find the bed unmade. And she said, why bother to make the bed? We're going to jump back into it again tonight.
Oh, but now I can't
You
sleep.
know?
I can't sleep on an unmade bed,
No,
you know.
but she didn't see.
Oh my
She
goodness.
had no problem with that.
You could make it right before bed, but I ain't going on it.
Because you see, she lived alone for a while. So she was accustomed doing her thing. But there were a couple of things that she needed from him and he needed from her. And
See
so
why
they
these things
agreed.
are important to
Yeah,
go
and
to
they
before.
ended up agreeing that, okay, we will try this. I said, try for a month, and then we talk about it again next month. And it helped to make both people feel loved. Because she needed him to do the things for
Puppy,
her.
what are your 3 things that you need?
I mean, I don't care if the bed made or not made. I mean,
Because
He
they
called me
jumped back
baby,
in
I
it.
heard
we're
it.
going to jump
Yeah,
back in it
babe.
anyway.
All right.
So, those things really don't
I
matter.
didn't ask you. You
No,
can't.
but-
You don't.
I
You
don't-
didn't
I can't-
answer
I
the
can't answer
question.
that just
I said,
like
what
off-
are the 3 things that you need? You need
Number
food.
1.
He need food because he already spoke about the belly and if the food ain't tasting good and he gonna make it himself.
Well, if you married a woman like me, you would have to make sure you have the money to go and buy food every day.
Or he wouldn't. Or if that's important. Correct me if I'm wrong, but if it's important to you, then don't marry somebody who's not interested in being in the kitchen. I mean, I know men that need the food
Yes.
fresh.
Oh God,
Don't
I
get me
always
stale.
say,
No,
"Lord, thank you, I can
I-
get
It
one."
I
cannot
don't
be
like
in the
that.
microwave, all kind of
Yes,
things.
yes.
Oh my goodness.
No, it don't matter. I mean, I can make my own food or buy it. So,
Yes, but would you feel more loved if the woman slaving over the kitchen. So that's not one of the things you need.
I wouldn't say I feel more love. I just appreciate her. Like, all right, she's cooked. You know, like I don't think it would change.
But it wouldn't, yeah, that's not, so that means that is not one of your love languages. That acts of service.
So
you
you
can
see-
handle your stories.
You see,
No, but if they
You go back to words
if
of
it was your,
affirmation, eh?
if it was your,
no,
if it was
don't get me wrong.
your
A
own,
woman that can take care of the household
Would be nice.
It's really a big plus.
I feel like you don't even know what your
appreciate-
own love language
No, but
is.
that
You
I'm
reach
telling
for
you
and you
but what I'm saying is that I just it does to say that she have to cook every day or
So what would make you feel loved?
show me love.
How?
Speak to me like you love me.
Like how?
You see that words of affirmation? You heard what he just
Except
said?
except-
Speak to me like if you love me. Those words of affirmation. the
Except
kind
when I
words
told
and
him-
so
You
on.
speak to me like a dog. If you speak to me like a dog,
Except-
I'll become a dog.
Except when I loved you up when you came in with my words, they went right over your head.
Okay, but maybe when you're not too accustomed getting too much love.
Oh, you can't
like that,
receive
man,
it.
You can't receive it. But sometimes, as I say, I'm a shy guy. So,
So speak
So
to you in
that's-
private.
yeah.
So that's how physical touch becomes important. Because
So we are
I'm
on to our
anxious to know
fifth
that.
love language. Guys,
Because I really
Final
want to know if
five.
that is yours.
physical touch.
And physical touch is not only sexual intercourse, but it is a very important part.
I think this is one of mine.
So if I come and hug you,
Yeah. Come on, give me a hug again.
you know how much I said this one to come off of this chair, and you come and hug me now.
Come on, give me a hug again. You see?
Oh, good heavens, I'm getting nervous
So
right
why
here
did I-
because we're
I don't
talking
have to
physical touch. I mentioned the word sexual intercourse and immediately you said, I need you to hug me. My God. What's going to happen here? Is this allowed on television?
A
Don't
hug?
worry, don't worry.
Daytime,
It's still
daytime television?
It's still daytime.
What,
Still
can I
daytime.
touch
Hold
his
a
hand?
hand. Hold his
Can we hold hands? How did that
Yes.
feel?
Yes.
Feel good?
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
How did that make you feel happy? Loved?
No, I think touching, for me, I like, just a touch, like,
Yeah, you don't need, it doesn't
It
have to be sex all the
no.
time. It could be the non-sexual touch.
Yeah.
Like how she held your hand just now and she'd pass some brush against you, put a hand on your shoulder. Those little expressions of love are important.
Yeah,
No, they are important because in love it takes many forms. The thing about this, and I feel I must say this, can
Say
we
it,
talk
say
about
it.
the sexual intercourse part?
Of course, we have 5 minutes, huh?
Okay,
So don't get
but let me say,
too-
I'm not going to get
Yeah.
into too much detail, but I just want to say that I feel that one of the important things is for women to understand, because we have this problem all the time. Women do not understand that men, it is a physiological thing in men, their makeup, that because of the sperm entering a certain place, they have to have a release, the sperm cells. Every 3 days or so.
Woman, I hope you're listening.
So-
I hope you're hearing the lead.
Yes, and we try to
hope
tell
you're-
women,
I hope you understand.
45 years of happy marriage.
when
and
you
it
are
come down to the
married-
last 5 minutes, how she keep the 45-year marriage.
The release. The release of
he
the
has
beast.
to release.
The release of the beast.
That's right, And because of that, women need to understand. Because a lot of women, women now have a headache, are not in the mood, and this and that. So women have to learn that you better learn how to do. And if you're not so much into this part of it, they have a lot of good books. Read, learn some stuff. And women love to be massaged.
All right, time for us now. Talk to the
We
man.
love
Talk
to
the
be
man.
massaged.
Time for me to
In
dip
fact, the
now.
other day we were we were doing a marriage conference the other day, and one of the guys was massaging his wife's feet. Another guy, and he was teaching another guy how to do it properly, because women love that. They love to, so men can learn how to do that and make a woman feel good. But remember, for us, that we're not just ready like
Switch.
men. Yes, men
So
have
bring
a
the oil.
switch.
Bring the oil
You have
and
to be
massage my
take
baby.
the time, call me in the morning, make me feel good. If I just had a quarrel with you, I don't want to jump into bed with you
Okay.
and have sex with
Really?
you. I'll sleep there, but you here and I are there.
See, that's the thing. I
And men, it doesn't make a difference.
No.
Because that was one thing. We
but there
now
are some
do the
women
next.
though that are the same way. And some women actually they turned on by the fighting. Well, not physical fighting, but the argument.
I
and
know, they know 5 minutes too.
the act of make
They want
make up.
they want the makeup.
You know?
Got to break up to make up.
That
But not
That's
all
a
women are like
Not
that.
all.
And
Not
if-
all, let's see.
Right,
And
and,
not
if,
many.
and so you have
And
to
there
know.
might be some kind of thing that, you know, that there are not that many who want to say, we want to quarrel and fight.
No,
and
no, no,
then
it's
we
not a
make up.
quarrel. No, no. But after a good quarrel, you know, you want to make good love, you know. So the balance that just keep the. That's what talk about living on the edge, you know. Keeping
Yeah.
your relationship.
Yeah, but I think what an awful way when you could do it in a much nicer way, you know, because they say
Maybe
we,
in
they say we are
1963
like,
that would work, but you know,
even now,
in 2016.
Even now.
even now.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, it's just such a different time.
So we have 4 minutes. So
So-
we're going to tell him to hush up a little
Society.
bit.
No, I just
And we're going
want,
to make sure.
I just want people to understand this, that women, we are different to men. Even the modern women. Because I don't deal with women who from 1963, you know.
Oh.
I dealing with women who
Today?
younger than you, you know.
Serious?
Not people as old as you, you know.
26, isn't it?
Little teeny
That's
boppers.
Really?
So no, but seriously, not teeny boppers, but the women we deal with of all ages,
Right.
and a lot of young women, and it's the same thing, the same feelings.
Maureen, can our viewers get in contact with you if they, you know, are going through some marriage issues and whatnot? How
They
can they get a hold of your services?
They can call us through,
Through Family Life. So
right?
they
So
can
you
get
can
you through
contact
Family
yes
Life.
through Family Life.
Okay.
They can call, and we are always available.
Okay.
You know, and I'll leave my number with you at the end in
Yes,
case
of
anybody
course.
calls you and would like
Sure,
to.
no problem.
So
Of course,
Family
we
Life
touch.
is a government
We
funded.
no, no, no,
or is this-
no. This
it's
is
private.
it is.
It's funded
it's
through
funded
good
through-
Christian people who want to help the world.
and through others who are not even Christian.
So if you're not, I
We
want to
have,
say if you're not
because
Christian.
we have had people come into our conferences from everywhere, Hindus, Muslims, non-believers, and they come, they find they got a lot out of it, and then they say, we want to help sponsor, we want to help do
Right.
something for this organization. Because we're working with young people, we're working with their married people, we're working with the engaged couples, the older people. We also have a program coming up, in fact, where we train people to teach life skills to young people.
Nice.
So, you know,
I think I should do that.
I think you need that from having spent the afternoon with you. I think it would do you well.
Okay, we have 2 more minutes. So Maureen, recap the 5 love languages for us.
Okay, we have
Words of affirmation.
words of affirmation, we have quality time, we have gifts, receiving gifts, we have physical touch, and we have, what's the last
Acts
one?
of service.
Acts of service. So
Poppy,
yes.
what is your love language?
The affirmation.
Words of affirmation.
And physical
We
touch.
clearly got that wrong, Maureen.
Physical touch and affirmation, I think is my words of.
Yours is really words of affirmation.
Yeah.
And physical touch might be a secondary one, you know?
And Maureen, tell us a little bit about that. You touched on a seminar or something where people
Yes, this is a Life at the Crossroads seminar that we do for teachers, for people who work with young people as
Okay.
well. And there we teach them, we have it's a 3-day seminar, you know?
Okay.
So it's very useful.
All
But I
right.
just want to say people need to make a choice to love.
So love is a choice. Today we spoke about love languages.
And you got the song, tell them.
I got the song.
Who sang the song
I
again?
don't know, I can't find that. No, it's time to go. Guys,
Because
see
you talk so much.
See you next week.
I have a problem.
You're watching
I
Care.
speak too much.
Bye.
Sometimes I
Bye.
speak at all.
When do you not?